Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to a beautiful, clear day here in Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. Today I'm going to take you on a flight down to Wabo, a 25-minute flight down there. So let's go ahead and get started. Get our fuel on. Low start, and as the NG comes up over 14%, I'm going to introduce my fuel. Wait a couple of seconds, my ITT shirts start coming up. I'm watching the trend of the little white needle coming up to see how fast it's coming up, to see if it looks like it's going to go into the yellow, and not even close, so it's just under 600. So remove the start cart. Yeah, this is a 25-minute flight. When I flew the MAF years ago, I flew the G8 Airvan, and it took 39 minutes to do the exact same flight. So yeah, the Kodiak definitely gets down there a lot quicker. Generator, alternator on, aux bus on. RV2, apparently I left it on last night, but it goes off when we turn off the power. Now that they're out of the way, we'll push our prop forward, get our blowers going so that there's some airflow in here. I've already got my flight plan in here. I'm completely empty. I'm just going down to pick up some guys. Then heading up to Chimbu, back to Goroka, down to Madang, and back up to Goroka, and then I should be done hopefully by noon today, which would be great. Caps and selectors. I've already checked my selectors as I jumped in. Our controls, our TAWs, we're just going to leave enabled for the time being, even though it's a perfect day out. We had some fog. I was just waiting for it. Just cleared. Switches and instruments. We've got 10,000 feet set in for my altitude, and if I check my weight, I'm at 5,460 pounds. Rotate at 54. Come back in at 63. If for some reason I had to come back in for an emergency, I'll have that already set up so I don't have to even think about what it is. All of our instruments are in the green, good to go there. Our flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. Our trim I've already got set up. I've got full right rudder trim. Talk about our report here shortly. And let's go call tower up. Tower, good morning, November Tango Kilo, request taxi Wabo, 1 POB. Taxi light on.
November Tango Kilo, roger, taxi 417 left, and a bit tracker lineup, QNH 1020, time check 15.
1020, clear the back tracking lineup, 17 left, November Tango Kilo. Now as I do come onto the runway, I'm going to flip on my strobe. Also just throw my landing light and then put my taxi light back to pulse, even though it was only about 100 feet taxi up to there. Alright, our overspeed check is good. And the reason why I do that is just when I, as far as the landing and taxi and stuff like that, is when I go to places like Cairns International down in Australia, we do fly down there every once in a while. I like to get in the habit of actually doing it how I would at a bigger airport, Port Moresby, where I actually just taxi with the taxi light on. Once I get onto the runway, then I put my strobes on, rather than just flipping on everything like I would at a bush location.
Tango Kilo, depart on track, 17 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff and on track November Tango Kilo. Alright, if I'm at 50 knots by our taxiway, I'll have to abort, full reverse, heavy braking, flaps up, cut off, pull off, and shut off my fuel. Pitch for 80, full flaps, make my emergency call on tower, and unless I am over 1,000 feet, I will continue straight ahead. There is fog up there, so actually potentially more to the right. Alright, we are clear for takeoff, done trimming abort, ignition, inlet, and lights. Harnesses, we've already done our governor check. Come back here to the main map page. Mission condition, flaps 20 and fuel and harnesses. 21 degrees, so 1390 for 1440, rotate 54. And here we go. 1390. Airspeed is alive, there's 50 continue, there's 54 and rotate. Like I said, we are empty today, so those are always nice fun takeoffs. Pitch at 73 knots, and that's our best angle. And right now, let's see, 1150 feet per minute. We've got 800 pounds of fuel on board. It looks like it's just holding right there. That's at 5,000 feet for the airfield. Yeah, I really do enjoy flying this plane. It's a lot of fun. Alright, well, I was going to go to the Asaro South. Looks like I'm going to just go ahead and climb up a little bit higher up over top of these clouds. I was going to show you a low route down to Wabo just because it's more interesting, and if there's bad weather, many times I had to fly the air van down that way. So we'll see as we get further on up in here if the valleys are just filled up with fog. I doubt they are, but we'll see. Alright, we'll get over this, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the nose, start pitching for my airspeed, and over 85 knots we'll start reducing our flaps. We have auto trim as well in this thing, which is nice. It doesn't quite go all the way enough, but it is nice not to have to sit there and trim it out as much as you need to. Alright, go ahead and bring my prop back to 2,000 RPM. And our ITT is going to be setting in right at 720 degrees Celsius for our climb. So yeah, it's only a 25-minute flight with the air van I used to fly. It used to take 39 minutes to get down there, which is pretty crazy. Just 14 more minutes to do such a short flight like this. Crocodile November Tango Kilo departed time 19er. We'll be tracking initially for the Asaro South and 194 on climb below 10,000, estimating Wabo 44.
Tango Kilo Asaro South, contact Medang 6598, correction 6538, secondary 6598.
6538 or 6598 in the Asaro South, November Tango Kilo. Alright, I'm going to pull this air off because it's actually kind of cold this morning. It's like 59 degrees this morning. This is my favorite time of year. The summer months, it's our dry season. We have beautiful skies, nice cold mornings and nights. I love it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn our landing light, our pulse light off. Inertial separator back to normal. Our igniters are turned off. I'm just heading to the Asaro South gap right now. It's absolutely gorgeous out there, but what you can do, once we get up here a little bit past these clouds, I'll show you on the iPad the low route that I would take down there. It's pretty cool. So I'll just level off 8,000. Then we'll let Medang know that I've been to altitude. Alright, so here's the map of Papua New Guinea. I just left out of Goroka, and what we're going to do is just follow along this river right here. This is the low route. Cut down through here, and then end up down here, somewhere down in Wabo. And it's perfectly clear out, but I wanted to show you guys this. If you guys do flight simulators at home and you want to fly the same route, I'll post this on my Patron page because this is a really cool route, especially if you stay low and just go down this valley. I think you could pretty much do the whole flight at like 6,000 feet. So it's pretty awesome. We leave the field at 5,100 out of Goroka, stay at 6,000 and wiggle your way down through these mountains. I'm going to go ahead and call Medang now. Medang 6538, November Tango Kilo. Medang 6598, November Tango Kilo. Medang 120.1, November Tango Kilo. It's going to be one of those days. Mars B5565, no we want Medang 3425. HF radio here is horrendous some days. Medang 3425, November Tango Kilo. Look at these houses out here, out right on this incredible view of this whole mountain. There's houses out on the cliffs out there. There's houses out here right on the edge. And it probably drops down, I'm guessing 1,500 feet down to the bottom floor of the valley. Just absolutely spectacular views. Well, I am having just the worst of time getting a hold of Medang today. I've tried every single frequency, and that's pretty typical. Well, not typical. It is such a huge pain, though. Anyways, another reason why this route is really helpful, typically we just head right over top of those mountains right there at 9,000 feet. but many times there will be just a complete cloud layer. And if the cloud layer is maybe at 8,000 feet or at 7,000 feet, we can take this low route here that we're taking today, and man, it doesn't even probably add even a minute probably to the flight. But what it allows us to do is it allows us to get underneath that cloud layer, because we can stay at pretty much 6,000 feet and get through the gaps. As the winds do pick up, that's a thing that I actually do consider as I do go through gaps, and if I'm lower to terrain and stuff, I keep an eye on what direction the wind is actually coming from, so I know if there's going to be some like sinkers or anything. So the wind's behind me, so as I'm going into a lot of these ridges, I'm probably going to have lots of updrafts more than downdrafts, because it's behind me and the wind's going to basically hit the mountain and just kind of push up. So I'm not as concerned as being lower to the tops of the gaps and stuff, but whereas if it was coming the opposite way, it would come over top and do a lot more swirling down, and then I'd be a lot more concerned about staying lower through the gaps. Alright, so here's the gap right here. I think it's called the Mafu gap, I believe, because Mafu I think is right there. I'll have to look once we get past this gap. But I'm at 6,000 feet right now, so I can squeeze through here. And a lot of times the clouds would just be sitting on tops of the mountains, and there'll be like this nice little hole right here that you can just squeeze through. So looks like all the way down to Wabo looks pretty nice. I was just checking the weather before I came. There isn't any way the cell phone service and stuff doesn't work down there. We don't have any HF to get a hold of them. So what we use is the Windy app, and we can look at the satellite.
Mike Charlie Hotel.
Mike Charlie Hotel. Mike Charlie Hotel, November Tango Kilo 120.1.
November Tango Kilo, Mike Charlie Hotel, go ahead.
Would you mind relaying to Madang for me?
Go ahead.
November Tango Kilo. We'll be estimating Wabo circuit time 4-4.
Madang 1201, Mike Charlie Hotel.
Alright, so we're able to get a hold of him. He can relay for me. I'm going to go ahead and throw my autopilot on as we descend down. That way
Madang 1201, Mike Charlie Hotel.
My eyes in here. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the chart here. Let's just search up for Wabo.
Madang, Mike Charlie Hotel for November Tango Kilo. They're on descent for Wabo and Wabo 44.
Sounds like you got a hold of him. Okay, so Wabo.
Mike Charlie Hotel copies. Break, November Tango Kilo, Mike Charlie Hotel.
November Mike Kilo, go ahead.
Madang copies all. No traffic reported for Wabo. QNH on the grounds 1010. Correction, area QNH 1010, and I can contact them on 6538-3419.
Yeah, I've tried every single frequency and every Moresby frequency, so thanks a lot. I'll give them a go again when I get there. Thank you.
No worries, Mike. Charlie Hotel. Have a good one.
Alright, so Wabo, elevation is 170 feet, so I'm going to put in 1,200 feet for my altitude for my circuit. Length is 712 meters, so super long, it's 1%, so flat, 30 meters wide. And what we're going to be doing is landing on runway 3.
Charlie Hotel, copies.
We're landing on runway 32. So I can land with an 8-knot tailwind if I'm full up. I'm completely empty, so I'm really not worried about it. This early in the morning, there's not going to be, I doubt, any wind. It looks like we might have some clouds there, which is what Wendy was forecasting, that it was just going to be like a broken, so we should be able to wiggle away through the clouds and get in there with no problems. Now 16 miles to run Wabo. I'm a little bit off to kind of the northwest of it, so once we get over top of these mountains right in front of me, there's a little bit of a cloud layer. I think that it's going to clear up right on the other side. It pretty much drops. We're at 4,500 right now, and it drops basically almost all the way to sea level, so another 4,000 feet. So my guess is that it will clear up, and it'll maybe just be some scattered and broken clouds just on the other side down by the river. I'm going to go ahead and start turning that way and go ahead and start on my checklist. My selectors, my fuel selectors and my brakes are good. Betty's turned off, so she won't yell at us when we get closer to terrain. Our VREF, we're going to look at our weight, 5,300. So my approach speed is 62 knots. Put that up for VREF. We'll get our lights and our bypass here shortly when we get a little bit lower. Actually, I'm pretty much just over top to these ridges, so I'm going to go ahead and throw bypass in under 140 knots. And go ahead and just turn towards Wabo. Yeah, it looks like it's getting pretty nice out there. So we're 13 miles out. We might as well throw our landing light, our pulse light on, get that done. And this one, if we do need to go around, it's just power up 20 degrees of flaps, straight ahead, or maneuver is required. Reset our torque to 740 and pitch for 73 knots so we have our best angle of climb so we can get up and out of there as quickly as possible. So that's autopilot off. We're going to go ahead and just start our descent down in there. Pop and harness we'll do here shortly. Our SAR, we'll see how that works today. Hopefully I can, every once in a while, hear my dang on the radio on just the VHF every once in a while, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get them. It looks like I can actually see Wabo right now, nice big and clear right over the base of the valley, which is great, because I really didn't want to have to come back out here and do a futile flight just because of the weather if it was cloudy and whatnot. As I make my descent in there, what I actually am trying to do is I'm trying to get to my altitude of 1,200 feet, my pattern altitude, about a mile before the actual airstrip. That way I can keep my 160 knots coming all the way in. But then once I get to be about a mile, I'll just bring my torque all the way down, probably to 300 to 400 foot-pound of torque. And then I'll just basically start slowing down in the pattern. Once I'm below 138, I'll put my flap in, push my prop forward. And that way I'm just keeping everything as efficient as possible rather than just kind of putzing down and then slowly getting in. I just keep all my power settings just like I was in torque or just like I was in cruise. Keep my speed up usually at 160 knots. Usually, because I'm usually coming in around 800 to 900 feet per minute, which right now I'm doing 900. So, and what that does is it shows this little blue arc. Cyan arc on the map, and that shows me where I'm going to arrive at my altitude that I've already pre-selected. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bring my torque all the way back to 400 foot-pound of torque, push the prop forward. I'm not getting him again, so I'm not going to waste my time trying all the other frequencies because I've already tried them 5 minutes ago. Prop and harness is complete, flaps to go. We're below 138. There's the first notch flaps. So typically I would do a left-hand pattern, but all the clouds are right where I need to be. I'm already at pattern altitude, so I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm just going to do a right-hand pattern because there's plenty of room over here as well. Move over here so I can look out my right window and check the airstrip. Looks like it's a little bit wet today. I don't see anybody on there at all. I don't see the windsock. Oh, I do, but it's in a position that's completely worthless. Tucked up right beside a bunch of trees. All right, we're going to be turning final at 700 feet. We went 62 final, 72 on base, 82 on downwind. So now I'm just slowing down. 82 knots, I'm at 92 right now. There's 82. And because I'm not using my regular references on where I turn, what I can do is just go out 1.6 nautical miles from the airstrip on my GPS, and that's a really good place for me to turn base if I don't know exactly where it is. It's almost always perfect. And there's 1.4. There's not really a base here, so here's 1.6 and a full flaps checklist complete. Alright, we're at 740 feet. There's 72 for our base, which is just basically a 180. Now we're just slowing down to 62 knots. Alright, so I'm pitching for my airspeed and power for my altitude. So if I want to go slower, I'm going to pitch back a little bit, and then I'm also going to reduce the power because I don't actually want to climb. All right, we're slowing to 62 knots. At 2 knots of headwind. Already feel the humidity here. All right, we're coming up on committed to land. Just have my speed up at 65 knots because it's super long and I'm not really that concerned about coming in at 62 knots because I'm empty. All right, we're committed to land. It is very good. All right. Splattered water all over the side of the plane. Anyways, guys, this is Wabo. If you'd like to see on-the-ground content here, I'm going to shoot a quick video for you guys for all my patrons. So if you want to fly this same flight, go check that out. If you thought this was a cool flight, give me a thumbs up, please. It does help the YouTube algorithm. Lets them know that this is an interesting video for other people that are aviation enthusiasts. And leave a comment down below what you thought of it. It really does help me, and I do sure appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. So thank you again for taking the time to watch, and have a wonderful day.